Hello and welcome to my review of Haarken Worldclaimer, Herald of the Apocalypse. Now he will only cost you £20, which I believe is like 50 pence cheaper than a Primaris Lieutenant, which is awesome. He comes in this big box just by himself, and I need to note that this box is the same size box as Mynir's Calgar's box, and the model itself is pretty big. We'll go through size comparisons later on. First of all, how was the model to build? Relatively straightforward. For a Chaos model, not many mould lines. You probably have a few issues on the jump pack to file off, and maybe on the skulls, but the armour and the spear was straightforward. Even the gauntlet, you know, the lightning claw, straightforward to put together. He doesn't wobble about at all. That is a nice thick rod protruding out of the Primaris, so you're not going to have any issues there with wibbly wobbly parts. He is a bit spiky, but they're on quite firmly. Usually you do get some issues with Chaos models because they do have spikes and skulls and kind of fragile parts to them, but this one, he's quite robust as Chaos models go. He's in this awesome pose, and you know, for £20, Games Workshop could have charged £25–30 for this model. I do believe they could have done that, but for the amount of detail you're getting, for the number of parts, for this dynamic pose, his rules are all right too. We'll go through them in a moment, but yeah, if you just look at the detail, lighting's a bit terrible in here, but as you can see, lots of detail. I put a picture on, a few more pictures actually, on my Instagram account. It's just super_Saiyan, but yeah, loads of detail, lots going on. This model really draws you in and requires you to spend some time looking at bits and pieces of it. Yes, he's standing on a Primaris Space Marine there, dead one, so it's great that you get kind of like a almost full-size big base. The base that you do get is a Lieutenant base, if that helps, which is like a Terminator base. I think it's a 40mm base, but yeah, really cool model, cool pose. Yeah, I'm a big fan. So I just brought over a Victrix guard. Let's have a look at some size comparisons then. So you'll probably be getting him alongside the Ultramarines unless you're Chaos only or Ultramarines only, but this is how he stacks up. He is taller and definitely has more of a presence, in my opinion, than Mynir himself. The spikes with all the skulls on just raise him higher, and without those, just with the jetpack, he's still gonna be taller than Mynir, but he is leaping off of a corpse. So that's how he stacks up. Pretty awesome. Definitely dwarfs the normal Primaris around, and if we just bring in normal Space Marine and a normal Primaris, you can see there why he's quite intimidating compared to the normal sort of Space Marines and the upgraded Space Marines. Next to Rabute Gilliman though, Rabute is taller and more of a presence, but then again he is standing on much more of a bigger scenic base than Haarken. Anyway, hope all those size comparisons do help your decision. I definitely think you get a lot of model for your money in this case. Let's go through all of the rules. Now, you do get the rules in the box for him, but if you do lose them, you can find his rules hidden away in the Vigilus Defiant book. He's an HQ choice, and his power points cost is a 6, and his points, which includes the war gear, costs 115 points in match play. Now, because he's got that jetpack, he's going to be quite fast movement speed. His movement is 12 inches. His weapon skill and ballistic skill are both 2+. His strength and toughness are 4. He's got 5 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 9, and a save of 3+. He's a single model armed with the Hell Spear and a Lightning Claw, and only one Haarken Worldclaimer may be included in your army. So the Hell Spear, it's a range 12-inch assault 1 weapon. It's strength 1, AP -3, and damage D3. So it's important to note it's not a melee weapon. He throws it, at the range of the 12 inches. It ups his strength to 5, and his AP is -3 is good, and his damage is D3. He's also got the Lightning Claw to be used in close combat. So strength of the user is the same, so that's 4. AP is only -2 though, and the damage is only 1. However, Lightning Claws, you can re-roll failed wound rolls for attacks made with this weapon, and if the model's armed with 2 lightning claws, which he isn't, each time it fights it can make 1 additional attack with them. So you're going to get your 5 attacks normal, strength 4, AP -2, but you can re-roll failed wound rolls. So it's not too bad, but it's not the best. Now, abilities. Death to the False Emperor. You're going to have a look at your Codex Chaos Space Marines for that. Lord of Raptors. You can re-roll hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons used by friendly Raptor units within 6 inches of this model. That's a great buff, especially if you've got 10 of them around him. Sigil of Corruption. The model has a 4+ invulnerable save. That's awesome. So that gives him a 3+ normal and a 4+ invulnerable. That's pretty decent. Herald of the Apocalypse. Enemy units within 18 inches of this model must subtract 1 from their leadership characteristic. That's good, and that's quite a decent range. 18 inches. His effective range of 30 inches. So if he's within 30 inches of a unit and you move him 12 towards them, then they're going to have to be subtracting 1 from their leadership. Pretty horrific. Raptor Strike. During deployment, you can set up this model in low orbit instead of placing it on the battlefield. At the end of any of your movement phases, this model can use a Raptor Strike to arrive on the battlefield. Set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches from any enemy models. That's pretty good, especially if you bundle him with, 10 of his best mates or whatever. They can have this quite horrific deep strike ability. Headclaimer. Each time an enemy character is slain by an attack made by this model, add 1 to this model's attack's characteristic. There we go. There's the game breaker. No, it's not a game breaker, but you see what I mean. He's a headclaimer, so he's popping on the skulls onto his power pack of spikes there, and you add 1 to the model's attack characteristic. So unfortunately it's only for characters. If he'll be character hunting, but whether that pays off is another matter, because is it going to be worth it for him going after all of the characters and upping his attacks? Maybe your opponent has 2 characters at most. It depends on the size of the game, but you're looking at possible 7 attacks there, or maybe even 8. But it's still a nice little bonus. But how good is he going to be with his toughness 4 and his strength 4 melee attack? I think it's best to whiz him around the battlefield, hurling that spear and trying to kill characters that way. Faction keywords: Chaos, Heretic, Astartes, Black Legion, Character, Infantry, Raptor, Jump Pack, Fly, Haarken Worldclaimer. The Warlord trait: if Haarken Worldclaimer is your Warlord, he must be given the Lord of Terror Warlord trait, and you've got to see Codex Space Marines for that. I think he's quite decent. Of course, he rivals Marneus in terms of his movement, and the fact that he can deep strike and Marneus can no longer deep strike. He's got the same strength but a lower toughness. He's got way fewer wounds, but almost the same attacks and similar saving, in that Marneus has a 4+ invuln, so does the Worldclaimer, but Marneus does have a 2+ standard save. And I do like how Haarken has a buff for the rest of the Raptors, and also a debuff in terms of the leadership, whereas Marneus has almost an identical Chapter Master reroll failed hit rolls ability, but also you can get those 2 command points. But Marneus does cost more points, both power points, almost double the power points, and less than double the match play points cost too. It's a shame he doesn't have a bodyguard. However, just bundle 10 Raptors with this guy and he's going to be quite a threat to your enemy army. Anyway, what do you guys think of Haarken Worldclaimer? I think he's a really decent model for a good price point, lots of detail, some good rules, not the best, but if you've got Raptors and you want to go down the Black Legion route, he's probably the best Raptor choice you can have. I'm really going to enjoy reading all the backstory to him and fleshing out the lore side and understanding the character a bit more deeply. What do you guys think of him? Put it in the comments below as always. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor protects.